Traditional Boys State fashion, introduce the introducer. Our introducer this evening is none other than the Assistant Director of American Legion Mountaineer Boys State, Mr. Matt Sampson. Matt?
We are honored this evening to have as our guest speaker a Marine Corps veteran, author, and ultra-marathoner. In the summer of 2012, he ran across America in 100 days from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. He, at that time, was the 8th person to ever do that? I forget. Not very many. In all, he ran 3,452 miles. He did that to honor our nation's veterans and to raise support for those who have served. A Braxton County native who now lives in Morgantown, he chronicled his journey in his book, Freedom Run. He continues to give back to veterans and our community through many veterans organizations, including the Marine Corps League, the American Legion, and the Rotary Club, Rotary International. His message of resilience, service, and daring to dream big is a perfect fit for you, the men of tomorrow. Please give a rousing and thunderous welcome to Jamie Summerlin.
Well, good evening, Mountaineer Boys State. Good evening. It's always an honor to kick off this week, and I don't take this lightly. This is my 9th year of being able to come to Mountaineer Boys State and give the Sunday dinner kickoff speech. 9 years, which means a few things. 1, I'm definitely getting older. 2, some of the jokes I told the first year could probably be qualified as history lessons by now. And 3, every year that I stand here, I'm reminded that this week matters. Now, you may notice I'm wearing my Flying WV shirt this evening. And no, it's not because I looked in the closet and said, what a perfect thing to wear for Mountaineer Boys State. I'm wearing it because yesterday, something historic happened. For the first time ever, the WVU baseball team is going to the College World Series. For the first time ever. And I love that it happened right before this week, because those players did not get there because of one swing, one pitch, one inning, or one person. They got there because of hard work, patience, coaching, trust, practice that nobody saw, sacrifice that nobody applauded, and a team that kept believing something was possible before the rest of the world saw it happen. That's a pretty good lesson for the first night of Boys State. Because this week is not going to be about one speech, one election, one cabin, or one person. It's going to be about whether you are willing to work together, stay patient, trust each other, and become part of something bigger than yourself. WVU baseball just proved that things people only dream about can become real when a team commits to the work. This week, you get your own version of that. Maybe not Omaha, maybe not a dog pile on the baseball field, although there is a dog pile tonight. Please don't do it in this room. We don't have enough room, please. But you do have a chance to be part of something you may remember for the rest of your life. So yes, I'm wearing the shirt tonight because I am proud of West Virginia. But I'm also wearing it because it's a reminder. Great things happen when people stop thinking only about themselves and start working like a team. I've watched young men walk into Boys State 9 times now, unsure, quiet, nervous, maybe even wondering what they got themselves into, and then walk out different, more confident, more connected, more willing to lead. And I want you to hear this right from the beginning. You are not here by accident. Somebody saw something in each and every one of you. A teacher, a counselor, a coach, a parent, a Legion member, a leader in your community. Somebody looked at you and said, that young man needs to be at Boys State. So before you ever sat down at the table tonight, somebody already believed in you. The question is, by the end of this week, will you believe in yourself a little more as well? Now, Matt mentioned in my introduction that I ran across America. And I know it sounds like one of those things that adults say and think, cool story, bro. But please don't make this a motivational speech about running. Don't worry. I'm not going to tell you you need to run across America. I'm not going to tell you you need to run across this campus. Honestly, there were plenty of days when I wondered why I decided to do what I had done. It was one of the hardest things that I've ever done. There were days that my body hurt, days I was exhausted, days when the next mile felt a lot longer than the mile I'd ran before. But I had a line that I carried with me that entire journey. Failure never crosses a victorious mind. There was never one doubt in my mind that I was going to finish it. I knew from the very beginning, from the very first step, that what I was going to accomplish, I was going to make happen. Because I had trained for it, I had worked hard for it, and I had put a lot of great people around me to help myself succeed and to help us honor those that we were doing the journey for. Failure doesn't mean that you can't get back up again. It doesn't mean hard things magically become easy. It doesn't mean you never get tired or you ever get hurt. It means that you decide quitting is not going to be the loudest voice in your head. For 100 days, 3,452 miles, I had to keep making that decision. And I didn't make it alone. My family was part of that journey. My kids were 10 and 12 at the time. My wife drove the RV, fed me all along the way, made sure that I was taken care of, and made sure that every stop we made to say thank you to our veterans, that we were doing it with a smile on our face. The people who cared about me, the people who encouraged me, the people who showed up, sent messages, prayed for me, checked on me, and reminded me why I started. And I learned something during those 100 days. Most hard things are not accomplished alone. And this week, you're going to learn that too. You may not be running across America, and I promise nobody is going to ask you to run 3,000 miles before Friday. But you are going to be challenged. You are going to get tired. You're going to be uncomfortable. And when that happens, look around. Look at the men at your table. Look at the counselors and leaders who are here for you. This week is not about proving you can do everything by yourself. It is about discovering how much more you can become when you listen, participate, serve, and lead alongside others. This past weekend, I was at the Department of West Virginia State Convention for the Marine Corps League. I was around heroes, Korean War veterans, Vietnam veterans, men and women who served during the same time frame that I did. Marines from different generations, different backgrounds, different stories, but connected by service. And I heard a line this weekend that I've not been able to get out of my head. Don't just talk, listen. Don't just attend, participate. Don't just belong, lead. That's the message that I want to give tonight, because that line is not just a good quote. That line can define your entire week this week. Don't just talk. Listen. Now, it might be hard for some of you. Some of you are already thinking, I'm actually a really good listener. And the guy across from you is thinking, actually, no, you're not. That is why this week is going to be good for you. We live in a world where everybody has something to say. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody can post, comment, react, argue, and explain why they are right in about 8 seconds. But real leaders know how to listen. This week, you're going to be around young men from all over West Virginia, different towns, different schools, different families, different backgrounds. Some of you come from big schools. Some of you come from small schools. Some of you may know everybody in your entire county. Some of you probably came from a school where if 2 people transferred out, you'd have to cancel the basketball season. But every person here has a story. Listen to those stories this week. Listen to the guy in your cabin who sees the world differently than you do. Listen to the counselor who is trying to teach you something. Listen to the veteran who has lived through things you have only read about. Listen to the person you disagree with. That doesn't mean you have to change everything you believe this week. It means you respect people enough to hear them, because most people listen just long enough to reload their next sentence. Leaders, listen to understand. Don't just attend, participate. There is a big difference. Attending is being in the room like you are now. Participating is bringing something to the room. Attending is sitting through the schedule of this week. Participating is giving yourself to the experience. Attending is saying, I was there. Participating is saying, I helped make it better. You can technically attend Boys State this week. You can sit where they tell you to sit, stand where they tell you to stand, move when they tell you to move, eat when they tell you to eat, probably the best time you'll have. Although looking around, I don't think some of us need to worry about eating. You can check every box and still miss the point. And the point is, don't do that. Don't disappear this week. Don't hide behind, I don't know anybody. Don't hide behind, that's not my thing. Don't hide behind being tired. Do not hide behind your comfort zone. Put yourself out there, run for something, ask a question, encourage someone. Help your cabin. Take a second to introduce yourself. Compete, serve, participate. You don't have to be the loudest person here. Some of you are already loud enough for 3 cabins. I heard you guys out there. But you do have to be present. You have to decide that this week is not just something happening to you, it's something you are helping create. And then there's the third part of that line that I heard this weekend. Don't just belong, lead. Last year I talked about 2 words from the song Country Roads, I belong. And I still believe that. You belong here. Every single one of you, you belong in this room. You belong at Boys State. You belong at this long-standing tradition. But belonging is not the finish line. Belonging creates responsibility. If you belong to a team, you owe that team your best effort. If you belong to a family, you owe that family your love. If you belong to a community, you owe that community your service. And if you belong at Boys State, you owe this week more than your attendance. You owe it your leadership. Now let me be clear about leadership. Some of you are going to run for office this week. It's not just about winning an election. When you do run, I say, good. Run hard. Give a speech. Shake hands. Ask for votes. Try to win. And if you win, Lead with humility. If you lose, don't check out. Don't spend the rest of the week holding a campaign headquarters meeting in your own head. What did I do wrong? Why couldn't I have succeeded? Losing an election does not mean you are not a leader. It means you have a different leadership assignment. Some of the best leaders in this room may never hold a title this week. They may be the guy who encourages someone else, the guy who notices when someone is sitting alone, the guy who keeps his cabin moving when everybody is tired, the guy who listens, the guy who serves, the guy who makes the room better because he is in it. Leadership isn't a title, men. Leadership is a responsibility. It's a service, and it's what you do when nobody is making you do it. And trust me, this week is going to give you chances to lead. When you are tired, lead. When someone else is struggling, lead. When it's easier to complain, lead. When no one else is watching, lead. That is the kind of leadership your schools need. That's the kind of leadership your communities need. And that's the kind of leadership West Virginia needs. Now, you've probably heard adults say that young people today are disconnected, that your generation is on your screens too much, that you don't engage enough, you don't step up enough. I'm not here to beat you up with that. I'm here to challenge you to prove every single one of them wrong. The greatest motivational speech I've ever heard in my life was somebody saying, "You can't do that." Prove them wrong this week. I do not believe young people are incapable of leading. I believe a lot of young people have never been fully challenged to lead. And every one of these leaders this week is going to challenge you to be the best that you can possibly be. I believe a lot of young people have never had someone look them in the eye and say, "We need you." So let me say it tonight. Men, we need you. Your school needs you. Your town needs you. Your county and West Virginia needs you. This country needs young men who can listen without being weak, participate without being asked, belong without becoming passive, and lead without making everything about themselves. That is why you are here. It is a practice for leadership, practice for service, practice for life. A few years ago, my son was here at Boys State, and I remember the ride home after his week. I remember listening to him talk about the friendships that he made, the things that he learned, the people who supported him, and the way that the week impacted him. And he still talks about the friendships that he made during that time. That meant a lot to me as a dad, because I knew he had been part of something real, and that is what I want for you this week. I don't want you to just survive this week. I want you to make it count. I want you to build relationships just like he did. I want you to be uncomfortable at times because I want you to surprise yourself. I want you to find out that you have more in you than you thought. Rotary International has a motto, service above self. The Marine Corps taught me something very similar. You do not quit on the person beside of you. You do not make everything about yourself. You give more than you thought you had because someone else is counting on you. This week, the person beside of you at the table is counting on you. Your cabin is counting on you, and this program is 100% counting on you. And whether you realize it or not, the people back home who helped send you here are counting on you to bring something back. Not just a certificate, not just a photo, not just a story about how hot it was, how tired you were, or how the food was. And by the way, be careful with that one because the people feeding you are doing the Lord's work this week, I promise you. By the way, let's give a round of applause to the people working back there in the kitchen. After this week, I want you to bring back something better. Bring back confidence. Bring back humility. Bring back courage. Bring back a willingness to serve. Bring back the kind of leadership that your school, your community, and the state becomes better from. Now I want to end tonight with a little something different. Normally I have everybody raise their hands, we do a little exercise, get their hands up as far as they can, and then I always ask them to give a little bit more because I want you to realize that this week you're going to have lots of times where you're tired, where you're wore out, you feel like you can't give any more. But that person across from you is going to need you to give. When you think you've given everything, you usually still have something left in the tank. But tonight, because you're sitting across from each other, I want to try something a little different. I want everybody sitting at the table, go ahead and sit up straight. All right? Make a fist with one hand. Let's just go your right hand. I don't care if you're right or left. Just make a fist with one hand and hold it out in front of you. Now look at it. That fist represents what you brought with you tonight. Your confidence, your nerves, your opinions, your goals, doubts, pride, fear, and your story. That fist can be strong. That fist can push through adversity. The fist can fight through challenges. But notice one thing about the fist. It's closed. You cannot receive much with a closed fist. You can't shake someone's hand with a closed fist. You cannot lift someone else up very well with a closed fist. And you definitely cannot lead well if everything is clenched tight around you. Now open your hand. Leave it out in front of you, but I want you to look at it. An open hand can still be strong, but now turn it over. It can also receive. It can welcome. It can serve. It can help. It can reach across the table. It can pull someone else forward. Now I want you to reach across the table, and I want you to shake the hand of the person across from you. Now I want you to do me one favor. Look that person in the eye that you just shook their hand and said, "I'll help you lead this week." That right there is Boys State. That right there is Boys State. Boys State is not just one guy trying to be important. It's not just one guy trying to win. It's not just one guy trying to prove himself. But young men, you deciding to be together, and together they're going to make each other better. That is leadership. That is service. That is brotherhood. So this week, when you're tired, remember that handshake. When you're uncomfortable, remember that handshake. When you're tempted to sit back and let the moment pass you by, remember that handshake. You just gave another man your word. Hold to your word this week. Don't just talk. Listen. Don't just attend. Participate. Do not just belong. Lead. Men, make the most of this week. Respect the people who are giving their time to be here for you. Respect each other. Build friendships. Be uncomfortable. Serve with humility. And lead with purpose. And do not let this opportunity pass you by. God bless Mountaineer Boys State. God bless West Virginia. And God bless the United States of America.